Welcome aboard everyone, Simon here from the Whales of Wall Street, EGLD video here, EGLD on the exchange. Covered this about a week or so ago now, so hopefully this little update video whets the appetite, as it were. We've got loads of videos coming later today once I'm back from the football, but here we go guys. So recap pretty much. First of all, thanks to those that have subscribed to the channel. If you have not done so already, please do so. We're smashing through. Can we get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year? Literally a few days left, and I think we can do it. So let your friends know, let your family know, share the fantastic videos around your social platforms, and hopefully we can do that, and that'll be a phenomenal milestone. But guys, do check out, seriously, aside from subscriber numbers, as much as that is good, I'd rather have you guys know some information around all the different projects we do or cover. We cover a lot of different ones, to be honest. Some regular, some are on and off throughout the month. But if there's any projects that you want us to cover in particular, do let us know in the community sections. We're always very active there, so do make sure you do that. And of course, big things around Elrond over the last week or so. Of course, Christmas period always tends to slow things down sometimes. But on Elrond's side of things, it is very much all systems go, as always. We've talked about the ride listing in particular in the last video, and particularly around the farm opportunities through the MEX platform. That's Elrond's exchange platform that's just launched. Really intuitive and really exciting to see. We'll go on to that in a moment's time. There's a couple of exchange listings here as well, and including the integration on Ledger Live. So that's really cool from my side. I mean, I've got the Elrond wallet anyway, so it's quite secure using the Ledger, but now having it as visible in the Ledger facility, it just gives you a lot more confidence, a lot more satisfaction when you see it as a whole portfolio, for sure. And a lot of my EGLD is currently in the my exchange here. Over $2 billion worth have been utilized for the Elrond wallet thus far. The farming is going very well. So yeah, there's loads of APR still available for all of these aspects. In the next video, I will link my ledger up properly to show you how well it has been going, even for the last few weeks. There's an opportunity here to stake your locked MEX to earn ride tokens as well. So that's got 16 days left. So if you're interested in that and you do have some locked MEX and you're not utilizing it for that, definitely recommend that. It's not financial advice, but certainly an opinion side of things. Well worth doing. And I've got pretty much most of these activated with the exception of the USDC. So I've got EGLD Ride on the locked MEX, so I can basically get the rewards from that. As soon as it hits the $10 mark, I'm transferring it straight into this to earn Ride. This one's earning MEX, which I'm then utilizing as well to essentially either put back into EGLD or restake, because that's what you can do. And the APRs are fantastic, so I plan to leave this all in there a long time. I've got lots of liquidity from EGLD that I've transferred across to help with this. And I just think, like, obviously with the lock MEX, there's specific dates where it gets unlocked anyway over the next year or 12 months, I think is, from this point. But yeah, in a nutshell, it's obviously a great opportunity to get involved in something so new. And who knows what the MEX price may be in the future. And to obtain a load of it, or a substantial amount of it for free, is quite phenomenal. And the aspect as well of being able to transfer it back to EGLD if required. So I've still got loads left in my wallet, but I just wanted to play around with this with a few of them, see how it went. So yeah, we'll do a video on that in the next few days in regards to how that looks from my side. It's really interesting to see, actually. So loads of cool stuff going on there. And that kind of ties it in really to the price. As we mentioned in previous videos, of course, you have the tail up usually of the information coming around from the staking opportunities that are available. And what's quite clear here is that obviously some people may have missed out, or this, that, and the other. And obviously we've had this continuous sell-off really of EGLD for the last month or so. And just to put that into perspective, let's just quickly... Do you know what? This is so hard to do without a mouse. I smashed my mouse a few weeks ago. I'm just waiting for a delivery, but as usual, everything's delayed. But anyway, we had the drop down to around 58%, which is very respectable. Not quite to the 60, between the 60 and 70 that I was anticipating. But I think because of the staking mechanism and the opportunity to get the ride token now, or the hollow ride token, I think that's maybe bounced up a bit more. But what's clear to see, of course, Elrond's movements over the year have been phenomenal. And what I've loved about this chart over many of the other ones, obviously Elrond as a project is phenomenal. The future is going to be gigantic. I was picking up majority of my Elrond around $25 earlier, and maybe not even early this year, might have been the year before. Just knowing that we'll probably get to at least $100, but I wasn't anticipating it to get to that $544 so quickly. But I think there's plenty more to come. Right now, we're testing some very interesting areas. So as we're floating here around $260. If you look back here, really interesting. So obviously we had these nice tail ups. Obviously couldn't get that. It's resisted. It's pulled it back. And we're looking at April here before we had the big tail down to June and July, like most of the markets did. But what was really interesting is if we look across here, there's some really interesting touch points. So we got this one here in the 12th of April, around 240. We've also got that same principle around these areas here, where there's a lot of traction. What I mean by that is a lot of bouncing off, right? So it's kind of like this area around 250. I'm just going to draw this in so you can see what I'm talking about, maybe in more detail. So literally roughly around this kind of area, okay? Because if you look here, we pulled it back down, couldn't get it. We tried to pull it back, impossible. And look at this along the line. Absolutely brilliant. I love looking at stuff like this. And some people might not like figure this out or understand, but it's very important about support mechanisms, okay? And not always support is found immediately. It can take some time. But also within a whole cycle, and what I mean by a whole cycle, I mean talking about a 2 or 3 year cycle, is justifying and understanding where exactly our support lines are. Because if you hit these points here, for example, you could argue from here we have price discovery, right? And we have to pull it down to find out where should Elrond actually be right now. And clearly it wasn't ready for these top lines here. Overpurchased, and then we get the sell-off, and then obviously confidence depletes, and we have the big mechanism of a fall down. But then you get to levels like we just said here. So we've gone from here to price discovery, which means that actually any point from here, $66 onwards, is questionable as to where we're supposed to be. Hence, we pulled back down, and look where we dropped back down to, around the 60 mark. Same here, and it's about tailing it up, finding that satisfactory point that we can call the new home for Elrond in terms of price. And that's what we're doing right now in these areas between 230 and the 260 mark. Where we just drew this orange line is of great interest to me, because as you can see, we pulled below it, we pulled above it, still not ready, pulled it back down, and now this is great, some stability around this area, okay? So if we can get that over the next few days and into next week, possibly, hopefully into the beginning of January, I think that's going to get, I'm not expecting it to tail up straight away, but certainly some bubble effect around this area will really indicate that we're ready. We're ready to push this because we've got good data points now across this chart here to identify this as a really key area for Elrond to move it forwards and upwards. So we had this like area here of interest. We've got this area of interest here. I will be looking to sell some around 390 and at 499, and as we smash through hopefully over the next few months into the bull run towards that 600 and beyond, once we pull back, they're going to be my buy opportunities. So there's loads of things to consider already right now to plan ahead. And the indicators that we're using right now, of course, we've got the 14, the 28, and the 90 day on the RSI. And we've also got the MACDs here as well. So we're in a bullish momentum. I quite like this over some of the other markets that we've been looking at. I would like to have seen a narrow line entering and then a switch over, but we've shot through. So we just got to be a bit cautious of that it's not happened too quickly, and we're just getting an emphasis of a bit of FOMO going on in this, that, and the other. But of course, we all want to see all the prices go up as much as we can, but equally we need to be aware of where we are in the situation. We have this big sell-off here between the 29th of November and the 22nd, so nearly a whole month's worth of sell-off, okay, and taking it from arguably this point here, even in this lower region here, wasn't quite fully switched over. We've got that now, and we're now switching back to this movement. This is why I'm saying about this stability line, and that's confirmed as well in these parts. So the RSI being at 32 back here on the 13th of December, very good entry points. And even to be honest, right now, I would not be angry at buying Elrond because it reduces the risk of it coming down lower, in my opinion. Not financial advice, obviously, but what I like about the RSIs on the 20 and the 90, they're floating or getting towards that 50 mark, which is very much that limbo support mechanism of like, we're identifying now some stability where we're not over purchasing, we're not overselling. It's finding that middle ground to then identify if we can push Elrond to the next levels. And that's where I get interesting thought process around where we're going with that. And we just pull the chart back up into more detail again. We're obviously clearly seeing some resistance around these particular areas here as well at 309. So very much what's going to be interesting is the support here and then a tail up. Not, like I said, not probably through 1 or 2 days, but certainly over a movement of a week, maybe we can do that. And once it gets to that 309, we're going to test that. I believe we'll probably jump up and down between maybe 309 and 297 or something like that to identify a support mechanism at this area. So first of all, we're trying to tick this area off at 350 or 360. Then the next level is going to be up here, and very much in line with these longer term fib retracement levels. So 305, for example, if we can break those, we're probably going to see some nice staggered approach here along the. I've got this macro fib retracement here on the right side, so you can kind of see a longer term of moves. So the next move anticipation would be trying to get back to that 387-ish mark. Obviously, there's a guideline, so you could probably say like 390 or whatever. But in that meantime, we've got some key target areas. So we've already just mentioned clearly there's some mechanism of around 309 and 317. But these macro levels are really important to get those support, to get to the longer term movements. Okay, I still believe that Elrond will get to at least $700 by the end of this bull run. Some were saying a lot more towards the end of the year. I mean, 1,000 isn't far off really to be able to do that in such a short period of time over a few months. But we need to get these staggered stages completed first. But I'm still anticipating around, I think we mentioned in a previous video, I believe around that sort of 750, 780 mark is definitely achievable. So very much kind of a good move from where we are right now, and consider your gains opportunity. I mean, if we do get to 1,000, you could anticipate that in your strategy as well, but just think about where you purchased Elrond, what's good for you, because like I said, for me, buying it at $25 was obviously phenomenal, and that's going to be an absolutely amazing return for me. But if you're jumping in right now, or like maybe further down where it gets to like maybe $500, just anticipate where we are in the chart. Look at historically and what the gains are available left still. Because what you don't want to do is go, oh, I was expecting loads of money back, but actually you might only be doubling your position when actually you want to be looking at tens or hundreds. Do you see what I mean? So this is where we are now with Elrond. That's what I'm thinking we'll have right now is a support mechanism here, testing these levels around this 260 mark for a bit longer, but then trying to identify that position around $300 in the coming weeks. And look at that on the performance indicators on the right hand side here. 7% up on the week was fantastic to see in green. The monthly, obviously, after this staggering downwards, I would love to see that go green. And once that goes green, maybe in maybe 2 weeks' time or something, I think we'll start seeing really good confidence building back up into Elrond, taking us, pushing us towards these higher levels that we used to see way back here, and the 400 or 500 mark. So we'll have to see how these few months play out. But I truly believe the bull run will come eventually. We won't know we're in one fully until we're in one. So sounds a bit crazy, but that's true. Year to date, 948% up on the year. So absolutely phenomenal moves from Elrond, as we mentioned earlier. But guys, like I said, irrespective of the price, this project is phenomenal. The platform, the DEX platform, is going to be brilliant. The Ride token, all the other little projects that are going on Elrond are fantastic. I'm really looking forward to seeing the development of Holo Ride. Go check out our video we did on that a while back. I'll try and leave a link to the end of this one if I can find it. But guys, that very much wraps up Elrond. Like I said, not financial advice, but it's still a relatively good entry point in my opinion. We may come down a slight tad more just to test these areas around 250, but either way, I think it's good opportunities to have some potential short-term gains in the near future, and also invest in the project that is going to be absolutely gigantic. And we've got to look out for the winter markets as well whenever that occurs. You know, what price points we may come down to, we may lose completely, maybe 80-90% of the entire cycle, and bring ourselves back down to maybe even a $50-$60 mark. Who knows? And if that happens, I tell you now, I'll be reinvesting everything that I sold around $700 back into Elrond, and trying to gain some traction that way. But guys, thanks for watching. We will come back with some more videos later today on various other projects, so do keep an eye out for that. Until then, guys, thank you. Goodbye.